Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have got another paint by numbers and I've chosen a slightly different one to my normal theme because I want to do a technique on this. So you see how this is really kind of blocky. Well, I saw a technique to make that kind of all merge. So yeah, I want to practice a new technique. So that's what I'm going to do. I didn't realise they were this brand. Because when you buy them on eBay, so I bought 3 for the price of 2, because I just do, why would you not? You have no idea what kind of packaging this is going to come in. Now, this brand is the one that took me 2 attempts to do one, which was the kind of Art Deco lady. So I'm not holding my breath on this one, but it worked out. I paid £7. So, you know, it's £7. But yeah, I've got a couple where, so I bought 3 different ones because I want to practice a couple of different designs and I also want to have like a little bit of a test. I know, I'm branching out. Right, first things first. What I do like about these designs is it does come with a reference sheet. So this is quite a small one compared to my usuals. Is it that way up? I think it's that way up. So we've got some nice big areas. This is not a, there are some tiny weeny ones, but a lot of it is big, which is what I want. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on all of this background first and then come in to start do the detail. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on, and I'm going to do that as a separate video. We're going to see how these paints cover, and then we're going to do the blending technique then to get all of the background ready before we're going to come in to then do these bits. Okay, so that's the canvas. So yeah, it's quite a small canvas, and you can see I can almost fit it on. I can raise my camera up a little bit more, so I may actually be able to fit this one on. The only issue I've got is board. What board am I going to put this one on? I do have a spare board. It may well be I have to ask my lovely hubby to cut one down a little bit, because basically it's going to end up being that way for me, which again is fine. I can work with that. It doesn't have to be the right way up all the time. It may just about fit that way. Yeah. Right, so that's our canvas. So what we're going to do with that, we're going to iron that, and I iron it on the back. We're going to get out these creases, which is very important, and whilst it's still warm, that's when I stick it to my piece of board, which is just, as I've said in many of these videos, it was just a piece of backing from a wardrobe or a chest of drawers. It's nothing fancy whatsoever. It's just a big board, which means that I can masking tape this down. And when you do it whilst it's still warm, you can actually kind of spread it a bit more and get it to stretch out a bit more, which I find helpful. And then I am going to gesso this canvas. I mean, gesso is so simple. I mean, you literally just brush it on. It really doesn't require a video on that, but if anybody did want me to do a video on gessoing a canvas, please let me know and I will do a video, because I'm always prepping canvases, so I don't mind doing that in slightest. Right, usual crappy paintbrushes, and the kids go, yay, we've got more paintbrushes, because I do not use those. You know, for the sake of spending a tenner on Amazon and getting a decent set of paintbrushes, just buy a set of paintbrushes. My go-to stuff is I have gesso, I have flow aid, and I have decent paintbrushes. When I say decent, I mean they're not like, you know, master art kind of stuff. They're really not. I get the Nick Pro ones. So these ones, which are the more rounded ones, are the ones I use for when I'm doing the flow technique. And then the flatter brushes is where I will use for these kind of paints, where I'm not going to use the flow technique, I'm just going to paint them out. So we're kind of hoping that, one, we've got a lot of paint, and two, that they are not going to be really, really transparent. Because obviously we've got some large areas to cover. So what we want is, because we're going to have to do 2 coats on a lot of it anyway, so that doesn't bother me. It's more the fact, if they're really streaky, that's going to pee me off. But let's have a look. So what did I do with my sheet? So this is what I use to test my paints and do a little swatch on. And we're going to go in number order. That's a lovely pink. Really nice colours in this. And I am going to get, which paintbrush am I going to use? I'm going to use this one, I think. I know it's a round, but I'm going with it anyway, because it's just the one I happen to have to hand. So let's have a look at these paints. Firstly, smell. I know, I can't believe I'm now doing a sniff test. But if you've seen one of my previous videos, I had a set of paints that smelled like ammonia. It was horrific. Yeah, it smells as it should do. No issues with that whatsoever. The consistency actually looks good. Are you all right there, dude? It nearly fell off the chair. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Are you all right, my dove? So consistency is fine. It's thick though, so I'm going to add Flow Aid to this to thin them out a bit. Just, it makes it more workable, and you use less paint, which is always a good thing, because you do not want to run out of paint whilst you're doing this. Right, that's the wrong colour for that. So that was number 1. And this is where, Alex, are you going to come and help me find numbers? Right, so there's number 1.
I'll find number 2. Those are teeny tiny ones.
It was. So that's, it's not bad. It's not bad. We can work with, don't forget this is on black, and hang on, is the canvas on? I think it's on a grey. Let's have a look. Yeah, so this one's on a grey. So instantly, if it can cover up this, it will cover up this, basically, is my theory of why I do it this way. Some people have got like professional swatching sheets and all of this. Like, I don't.
I found a 3.
You found a 3? I found a 2.
It's not, I know it's on the flower somewhere, because it's red and the flowers are red.
Okay. So there's a number 2. So as suspected, number 2 is very, very transparent.
So what will we do to fix that?
So what we're going to do with that then is we will use our acrylic white paint to cover up that to start with.
I remember that.
Yeah, so then it will cover up that number 2 and we won't see it. So yes, we'll have to do 2 coats of paint on this, but because we've covered up that number and potentially the line, it depends. If the colours around it are dark enough to cover up those lines, I do that with the other colours. So I tend to do the transparent ones like this last, because then I know, well, one, it's easier to find them because it's the white bits that are left on your canvas. But it also means that if the other colours around it are dark enough to cover the lines around that, they will cover those lines. So I've only got to then fill in the number part. Okay, so you found me a number 3. Where's number 3?
Yeah, there's a number 3 down there. I can't find it now. There is also a 2 down there.
Well, that's not helpful, dude. 3. Brilliant.
And there's a teeny tiny 3 on it. Ew.
So, like I said, these paints are not prepped to the way I want them. These are literally coming out. But you can use, you see what I mean when as we saw with your paints, Alex, that if you don't put some Flow Aid in them, they kind of drag a little bit, don't they? So when I put the flow aid into your paints, they start to flow a lot better, didn't they? And
It felt like they were like sticking the brush to the paper a little bit.
Well, that was before we put the flow aid in.
Yeah, it felt a bit. It was a bit like sticky-ish, slimy glue.
Ooh.
At the start. Green.
There we go.
The fall looks good. It might do it in 2 coats.
It's quite transparent, dude. You can see that 4 clear as day. 2 coats is not going to change that.
I know, but if it's on grey,
But
it might.
the difference is, so this one, it's not streaky. You see how this one's quite streaky?
So, like, you can see the brush mark.
Exactly, whereas that one isn't.
Is that because that one's more transparent than this one?
Yep.
5.
Number 5.
Yeah, 5 and 19 are all around it. 17 is quite a bright,
Amazing enough, number 5, which is black, covers black.
of course.
Not always. No, there have been blacks where I've gone, what?
No, but how can black not cover black?
Okay,
if
number
black is
6. We've got number 6 over here.
black? That's massive.
So, number 6 is, sadly, it's transparent,
Aww.
which is a little bit disappointing. That's, but we may go over again.
That
Okay,
looks
so
better.
we can potentially get it in 2.
You can't really see it in 1.
Now, number 6 looks like it's mainly just the big areas, which is fine because, again, like I said, I'll get rid of the number 6 mark. And because of what I'm going to do over these lines anyway, it's not going to be a major problem. We hope. She says, confidently, yes, think positive. It will all be fine. It will all be fine. I say this as though I know what I'm doing. I'm not. Anybody that watches my channel, whether it's nails or whatever, I love to
7.
experiment with stuff. That's like the tiniest 7 ever, dude.
Well, there's another 7 and there's another.
I saw a big one above your hand somewhere. There it is.
There's an even bigger one there.
Now, I already know that a number 7 is going to be transparent because it's red. And they just are.
It looks exactly like the 2, basically.
It doesn't look... They're completely different colours, dude.
Well, one's slightly purple.
Yeah, because they look like the same colour.
Kind of.
Right, number 8. There we go. Here's a number 8. So at the moment, I mean, the paints aren't bad. Like I said, they're too thick, so I will flow aid them. Like I say, some people use water, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I find, as I know I've said a lot of times before, water dilutes the paint. Flow aid thins the paint, which makes it very, very different. Okay, so number 9 is the same. Which is not going to make this as an easy job, let's put it that way. But it can be done with 2 coats, potentially. I am still going to take those numbers away before I do those colours though, because I'm going to do, because they're big areas, so I'm going to do 1 colour at a time, and then I'll do a second coat of that number before moving on to the next number. Then it won't be a problem to remember what I'm doing. And also the fact that we have a sheet, which also tells us what we're doing. which is good. Yay! Right, let's go with this one. Okay, so number 10 actually isn't that bad. Again, it's going to be 2 coats, but I suspected that. But I was going to be doing 2 coats anyway, because such a large area like this, you're going to get... It's not going to be full coverage everywhere. It just isn't. Best will in the world here, people. It just isn't. So I already knew I was doing 2 coats, and that's fine. I don't mind that in the slightest. These ones bother me, because you can just never get it quite right. And depending on how bad these pinks are, I may end up doing like the flow technique on them, on all the flower parts, just to make it a bit better. And it will also make it more 3D, which is kind of cool actually, if I can get the paints to do what I want them to do. Okay, number 11 is again translucent. None of this is a surprise to me, because these particular colours, the kind of pinks, the reds, the oranges, those kind of tones, for some reason, they're always like this. Always. Every single one I've had. Right, number 12. Now, people may not want to watch the swatching, and that's fine, because you can just fast forward towards the end where you see the final shot. But some people want to see how the paints work, how they flow. Some people may just like to listen to me waffle. So number 12 is, again, really, really translucent. And like, the problem is, it's not just translucent. You're going to see the brush marks as well. And it doesn't matter if you did 5 coats over it. It will never cover quite the way you want it to do. And that's why I prefer to use the flow technique, because I know that will cover it, because I tested that in a different one. And hopefully you may have seen that video, which is called Getting Rid of Streaky Paints. Number 13. So very translucent, this one, but as with the other ones, we can probably get rid of that with 2 coats, so not fussed about that. I'm conscious of how long the video is, so I need to speed up. My helper has just gone off. Meh to you too.
What are we looking for next? 15?
Yep.
I found a 14.
Well, I've just done 14.
Oh, there's a tiny one there. 15, 15, 15. Imagine if it's just a gigantic one in plain sight and we can't find it.
There it is.
Oh, is it tiny? Oh, that's white.
It's not, it's cream.
Oh.
It's actually got a hint of pink in it.
That's pretty light and it's covering it really good.
It is actually, it's not doing a bad job, that one. So that could potentially get done with 2.
Or maybe even 1, because the thing's grey and then when you gesso it makes it lighter, doesn't it?
Yeah, the gesso's clear, so it doesn't really make much of a difference.
That's definitely not done anything.
Yeah, but now you see the 15 starting to dry and you can see it a lot clearer now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll need to block those ones out.
Okay.
We're sensing a bit of a theme on this one, aren't we? How much are we actually going to have to white out? Ooh!
What?
I just got attacked by a wasp. Daddy! That's my husband, but obviously we call him Daddy because he's Daddy. Just because that may have sounded quite weird in my video, me shouting out for Daddy. my husband is like the wasp specialist. They freak me out.
They don't freak me out. Well, all you have to do is just stay still. They won't do anything.
Dude, they always sting me. Always. And what happens is Daddy flicks them away and then they come back angry and then they come and get me. Right.
Then maybe don't leave the door open.
Seeing how hot it is today, dude, would you like us to have the door closed?
You always tell us to shut the door because it makes the heat come in.
Not at this time of day. So whilst the sun is not, then it helps to have the door open because we get a nice breeze. Okay. 18.
18.
19.
19 is yeah, that's definitely covered. That's pretty much the exact same colour as 5.
No, it isn't.
Except
it's completely different. It's a dark green.
Oh, that actually looks more like a brown.
The 5 is a brown, actually. It's not a black, I can tell now. That is a green.
That's definitely green, that one. 20 years.
Yep.
Oh. Now I need to find 21. There it is. Or is that 12?
Yep, that's a 21.
That's 12, right?
That's 12, yeah.
That's 21.
And that's 21.
Okay. I can't tell the difference because I'm upside down. 12 looked like 21 and 21 looked like 12.
Yep. Okay, we can possibly recover that one. So, pretty much, well, not pretty much, every single paint is a translucent. Okay, because you can still see bar one.
Black. And that one.
No, when that one dries, I can just about see it through.
Just. But
so
two
that,
coats will do.
so the basically all of these colours are not going to cover in one foul swoop. Some of them are not even going to cover in 2 or 3. You could even put 5 on there. It's still not going to work. So, we already know that we're fighting a bit of a beast. But, like I say, there are 2 different techniques I can use on this. One technique for the background, which I need to be able to paint this on, otherwise the technique isn't going to work and I'm not going to be able to blur it. The second technique is the flow technique because all of the numbers in all of this are all really translucent.
How does the flow technique make it not translucent?
Do you remember when I showed you in the last video that we did where I painted the number on and then I did the flow technique, which kind of makes like a little puddle of paint, and it was a completely different. So in one, it didn't cover at all any of the black lines, did it? But when I did the puddling, it covered it up completely.
Okay.
So for translucent paints like this, and because we've swatched it and we know we're going to be battling this beast, swap technique, because it will make life a lot easier. The other good thing then is it's going to make all these flowers look 3D, because with the flow technique, it makes it kind of stand up. Right, and I'll show you, I'm going to grab
on that one
behind.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm going to show you what I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, if you feel it,
can you see?
It goes up. It feels.
So that is using the flow technique. And it just makes like a bit of a 3D effect rather than a flat effect, which is what we get when we normally paint. So that can be beautiful for making these bits, the bits we want to stand out, which means I'm also going to do the drug and all the lace and the flowers here the same, but the background is going to be flat. And I think that's going to look really, really funky. So I will be back to show you how we're getting on and what we're doing. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.